Hello people, Carlito here once again, this time with a video all about the recent Christmas update. So the update's now live. The splash screen of the game is very similar to the one that's on here that says update today, and if you haven't updated your game and you're watching this video, you should go off and update the game right now because it's live. If you have, then you've probably experienced some of the changes already, one of which, and the main one to be honest, is all around loot and the way in which the mechanics works. So it's a little bit complicated, not terribly, but it's a little bit complicated, and it's definitely a change from what we're all used to. And in summary, there's basically two ways in which the resource will now work. There's going to be a limit to how much how much of your loot is available to attackers, just as always, I guess. And in addition to that, there's going to be a cap above which loot will be capped, so that attackers can't take all of your resources. So for example, if you were a Town Hall 10, you've got 8 million gold in your storages. Based on this 10% rule, as you can see here, at Town Hall 10 you'll have 10% of your loot available to attackers. That won't be 800,000 gold, which is what 10% of 8 million is, because there's also a cap, and that cap in this instance now is going to be 400 gold, and I'll explain the way the cap works in a second. But the thing to get your head around is there's a certain amount of gold available to attackers, and that's a percentage. However, once you get above a certain level, which is the cap, that percentage stops being effective. So for example, if you did have 8 million gold in your storages, you're only going to be given up 400,000 of it, and that equates to 5% actually. So it's the percentage with a cap on top once you get past the specific level for your Town Hall. So Town Hall 10, it's 400 grand, Town Hall 6, it's 200 grand. And if you're looking at the video, read through that, it's fairly self-explanatory. But what it means, of course, is that if you've only got 4 storages and you're a Town Hall 10, there's now an awful lot more gold available to attackers per storage. And that's one of my worries really, is that someone could break into your base, take just 2 storages and walk off with 200,000 gold, which is basically what they get now if they completely wipe out your base, because most solid players have learnt that you need to split up your storages, and the only way to wipe people out and take all of the gold is usually to completely destroy the base, and therefore get round the entire base and destroy all of the storages. So in terms of the way the cap works, it's basically they add 50,000 gold for every Town Hall once you get past Town Hall 6. So Town Hall 7, there's a standard cap of 200k plus 50 grand. Town Hall 9, because it's 2 levels above Town Hall 6, sorry, 3 levels above Town Hall 6, you're going to get a cap of 200,000 gold plus 150 for those 3 additional levels. And at Town Hall 10, of course, it's 4 levels above Town Hall 6, so you're going to get 200k cap with a 200k bonus, if you want to call it a bonus. So the long and the short is that the more gold people have in their storages, the more gold you can take from them. And Supercell believe this will help with saving up for the expensive upgrades, and I can see the logic there, definitely. What it will also do though is potentially penalise those people who aren't very active. If they're not raiding, they might find that they lose far more gold on defence than they actually bring in terms of income. And also players who log in, log off, log in, log off, they might find that they actually get an awful lot of gold taken off them as soon as they log off. And it's one of those things we're going to have to wait and see. But to be fair, the very first attack that I saw today at Town Hall 10 was 300,000 gold, but potentially due to the fact that people have been offline, and normally after an update the loot is very good straight away, and then it kind of tails off as the hours pass. Now there's a video describing some of this stuff, so check it out. It's Chief Pat's video. There's a link here, so go check that out. Now there's also been a release which I don't know what this is going to look like yet because no one's attacked me. It's all around the Santa bomb, and there's meant to be something inside these boxes that they're teasing us with, but they haven't explained fully what it is. If anyone knows, let me know. If there's a video out there, maybe I'll try and find it. But as it stands right now, I've got the bomb. I've put it on my village, right by my town hall, so hopefully someone triggers it soon. But as it stands, no one has triggered it, so I don't know what this looks like. But fingers crossed it's quite interesting, so we will see. Okay, so let's get into the detail of the updates, because I've gone over the headlines, which is the loot change. I've also given you a sneak peek yesterday, which is about the Inferno Tower. But here is the detail as it stands in terms of the changelog. So you're going to get a new theme, which we were all expecting. And you know, your land's now got lots of snow, and Christmas trees might pop up and all that good stuff. The Santa Strike, I don't know what that's going to look like. Last year it was an attack, so Santa coming on a sleigh and he dropped bombs in the form of presents. This year it looks like it's on defense, so we will see how that works. It's quite cheap, so I don't know how powerful it's going to be, but it's there, and eventually we'll all find out. The Inferno Tower, as I said yesterday, has been reworked. It now has another mode which will enable it to target multiple targets, and I think that's really there for hogs, because it also says that targets can't heal while under targeting. So if you've got an Inferno Tower and it targets multiple hogs around the middle of the base, those hogs will no longer be able to be healed, and that could be the end of people using mass hogs as a way to 2-star, 3-star an awful lot of bases, despite the fact that they might not have been the most skillful of attackers, shall we say, because there's some people who are using hogs who with any other army formation probably wouldn't be able to defeat the base that they are attacking. And also there's going to be a level 3, so we'll be able to upgrade Infernos one more level. In terms of the looting, as I've said, that's been revamped, so there's going to be a percentage decrease based on the Defender's Town Hall. So at lower levels of loot in storages, you're going to get less loot as an attacker, but if they've got full storages, we should see more loot. So it might take a little while for that to actually come to pass as players build up the storage levels. So we'll see. It's one of those that you can't tell on day one. It's going to take a little while for this to pan out, but hopefully it's better for us all. I'm a bit dubious about Town Hall 10, only because my style has really changed, so I'm logging off a lot more often throughout the day. I do raid quite often, but I'll log off, get a shield maybe, then log back on again and attack again. And if people start to attack my storages, even if it's just 1 or 2, just to try and get 100, 150, 200k worth of gold, then I might bleed a lot more gold than I'm used to, which will maybe change the way that I play. It'll certainly stop me going too high, because at the high levels players break into the bases quite often because they're using golems and pekkas, wizards, hogs of course, although that might slow down a little bit, and the infamous witches. So there's an awful lot of unknowns right now, and I guess we'll all find our feet, and eventually we will find the levels at which we're comfortable playing, be that in Master League, Crystal. Some might use this as an excuse to, you know, sod it all and just go to the champion, or at least try to get to champion, because that could be where massive loots are going to be, because there's lots of players up there who maybe don't need the gold, don't need the dark elixir, you know, they're completely maxed, and if you come across those guys, you're now going to get large amounts of loot on every raid plus the bonus. So it could be very attractive if you've got the ability to get that high up in trophies, but certainly it's going to change the way that we raid, so we'll see how that goes. So scrolling down a little bit more, there's we'll see that there's going to be fully localized in Korean, which is great for those who've been missing that previously. Village edit mode has been enhanced so that if you I guess lose connection during your change of a base layout, you will automatically have that base saved and reloaded when the game restarts, which I guess can get really frustrating if that didn't happen and you know your base that you'd spent maybe an hour on is just completely wiped. Training capacity and barrack information is going to be there on the upgrade screens and the barrack info screens, which is good for the newer players who might be unfamiliar with troop capacities, etc. Unarmed traps will now have smoke to indicate that they are unarmed, as opposed to the text bubbles, which is a visualization change. Doesn't really bother me one way or the other. And Arabic text input has been improved. Again, not one for me, but I'm sure that's going to help a lot of other players. In terms of balance tweaks, the Inferno Tower's range has been decreased, which I think is probably a good call. And the Infernos did have a really large range, very difficult to deal with. But with the additional change that they've now got and the added level in terms of level 3, they're going to be really powered. I wouldn't say overpowered until I've seen them in action, but they're going to be a really powerful defence, especially against hogs. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Also decrease the cost of Inferno Tower level 2, which is good for me because I've not yet done mine. And the damage for dragons and giants has been increased, as has the HP for giants. So a little bit of a buff there for those troops as well. So there you go. As you can see, the main gist of this update has all been geared around the loot change. That's the big news. And it is big news. Whether it plays out to be really effective or not, it is something that we're going to find out. But it's good to see that Supercell are taking our lack of loot and our concerns seriously. So something to be, I guess, positive about, because if it doesn't work right now, at least they will tweak things, hopefully, in the near future. But for now, it's a case of just waiting to see. So there you go, guys. It's going to be bye from the king and bye from the queen, and I will see you soon.